15 minutes. That gives enough time to have questions at the end before we hand back to John for the conclusions. So hopefully you've got your sound sorted out, and over to you.
Yes. Do you hear me now? Is it fine?
Sounds good. Looks good as well. So I think you're good to go.
Perfect. Sorry for, and yes, I'm in yellow. So let's start. So today I'll be talking about connecting with students via social media during the pandemic. For those who were in Cyprus last year, I already did something related to Insta stories. It will still be related this year, but to another level. So I'm Aswin, I'm social media specialist at the University of Luxembourg. And as usual, I will start with this. People always tell me that I'm always on Instagram, and I always tell them that I'm even paid for this. So a few statistics to start with is it's our growth on social media for the past 5 years. I've been at university for the past 5 years. And in 1 week, we will reach 100,000 followers across our social media channels. So we've multiplied our presence by 5 in 5 years. And for Instagram, it's our biggest progress. Every year, we've been doubling our number of followers. And so last year when I was in Cyprus, I told you that we were looking forward to reach the 10,000 followers so that we get the swipe up function in the Instagram stories. We didn't make it in 2019, but early 2020 in January. So I just wanted to show you if it works. So this is what you can see now when someone watches a story on Instagram. You just have to swipe up and doesn't have to leave the application and can read the article. Our website is not that mobile friendly yet, but we are working on a big project this year to relaunch our website to make it mobile friendly, mobile first. So this is something that can be very useful once you have 10K on Instagram. So let's go. How do we connect with students on social media? Our go-to channel remains Instagram. Stories are the place to be. This is where we get the highest engagement, where we connect with the students, where they interact with us, where they respond to our stories because it's easier for them. It's two tap, and then they are just chatting with us. So what type of stories we share? Informative stories, news and events happening at the university, listening stories, to take the temperature, especially during the pandemic. It was good to see how students were feeling. What were the questions about studying at the university, technical questions, did they have a laptop, etc. Get feedback. Also about our social media strategy ongoing to improve. Promotional stories, I will show you some examples later. Promoting study programs, but not direct promotion, indirectly promoting our study programs. Sharing stories, this is something that really works out, user-generated content. So we put our students in our stories all the time, and they are the one like being ambassadors for us from their house, the bus, anywhere where they are. They just do a story, it's quickly done. And motivational stories, which during the pandemic was very necessary. We felt that students were feeling very lonely, especially we have students coming from 125 countries. So you had students who couldn't go back, etc., who were in the residences. And also during exams, for the first time, all exams were online. Most of them, a few were in person, but most of them were online. So you have all these technical issues that students were facing. So this is something I shared last year, but it's still true, and it's more than ever true with the pandemic. It's empathy marketing. So the ability to empathy, the ability to share someone else's feeling or experiences by imagining what it would be like to be in that person's situation. And that's what we try to do in our social media strategy. And one thing I would like to remind, because when I discuss with people from our university doing communication or people from elsewhere, we all often focus on social media as just being a media, but we forget that in social media you have social, which is very important. We tend to focus on because we have experience from the traditional media where we speak, be it on TV, radio, newspaper, anything where we speak and people listen. So, and social media doesn't work like this. People react, you have comments, you have private messages, you have people doing own stories, own posts, where you have to interact and adapt quickly. So a few things about empathy marketing as well: not selling, but providing assistance, embracing the student world, problems, joy, and questions. And I have a quick examples to share with you. During the pandemic, we have, for the exams, we have students having issues connecting to Moodle, to all stuff. They had exams in a few hours. So we kept providing them assistance till late at night, early in the morning, to find solutions so that they can do their exams, that they can register well, etc. And this was well appreciated. We have international students who were coming to university but didn't get a response for accommodation, etc. During the weekend, via social media, we provided them with the relevant assistance, in relation with other departments, of course, so that when they land and they come to the university, they can pick up their keys at any time, etc. But these were the questions that kept coming, especially from international students. And think like students, listen to them. So I said, find solutions. Ephemeral communication, this is also part of last year, but just a few technicals for those who are not familiar with Instagram. So the stories are 24 hours, it's 15 seconds max for videos, 10 seconds for pictures. So you focus really on what is most important. It's really snacking the content. When someone watches one story, gets one piece of information only. So these are, I will show you, it will be quite visual after that. I will show you how we connected with students. So this is when we switched to online classes. So on the 13th of March was the last day at the university. On the 15th, we started online classes. And then we wanted to know how students felt, etc. So we asked students to tag us in their stories. And at the beginning, it was just we didn't think that it would go to that extent. But then students keep telling us that that's fantastic, they feel that they stay connected with the university, but also with all the friends or other people. So we kept sharing their stories and tagging them as well. And we kept this relationship together. And as you can see here, you have sliders where we put the strong or motivational emojis where people could slide through and give a bit an impression how they were feeling, etc. And with these interaction, I as the admin of the account, I knew who did that. So when there were something that didn't seem okay, I contacted that person via private messages. And by large, we tried to contact everyone that interacted with the stories so that we could give them a feedback or motivate them or ask them for further information where we could help them. So I won't read all the messages there, but you can have a look and you can see how the students were feeling. It's really their content. We just added a few things over that. So these are more, and you can see that how grateful the students were. I'm grateful to be able to bring a little normality, etc. Students were really happy with that, to the extent that this went escalated to management, to people, because as you know, not all management always know what we do on social media, but this went around, and to the extent that people from above told us that we should make a story on our first page of the university website. So there was a real story that was written on the first page of the university website, showcasing and highlighting some stories and asking people that they could go and watch the stories to see how students were feeling and dealing with online hybrid classes, mostly online. And then the next step after the online classes started, as many of you, we had the open day. And we were scheduled to have an in-person open day, and it didn't happen. So we quickly had to set up a website. So we set up a satellite website, which is openday.uni.lu. And some of you already shared the experiences, but they are similar to ours. So we set up a website, started creating a lot of videos, presentations, recording people to present their bachelor programs, their master programs. And we had those live chats where students could meet with either other students from student associations, but also from professors or student services of the university. And we used WebEx at the university. We used WebEx for these meetings, and it worked quite well. And of course, we did social media campaigns more than ever because everything was digital. So once again, we used social media so we did paid marketing, but we also used our community to be ambassadors. So we prepared a video and we asked them that if they could share this in their stories and add a sentence, why should someone study at the university, so that we could reach their friends, their families, etc. in their stories. So you can see a few of them here. And then after the open day, we had exams period, which was very tricky. Everyone was super tense of how this is going to happen, etc. So what we did is we continued being in touch with the students, and we kept putting motivational stories late at night at 11 p.m., 10 p.m. We started asking them that they should go to sleep now. So we make some things, we tell them now, and they say, as you can see in one of our polls, they say they can't sleep, 60% say can't sleep, and I just send each one of them a message telling them, maybe you should put your phone on sleep mode or things like that. And it was quite a good way of connecting with them, and they appreciated this. And this is something that I realized, that how people wanted personal touch, not like generic messages, but and when I texted someone, I make sure to write his or her first name correctly, and from what I knew from that person, try to give some personal touch to that message. So in the morning as well, send positive vibes, etc. You can see more, and we also have this questions sticker where people could ask us questions or give feedback, like not just from a poll, but really writing sentences. So here some students were sharing how they dealt with loneliness. So this girl had her tortoise as a study buddy, and she was sharing with us more stories. So once vacation was over, or during vacation, we had the welcome day, and we decided to do an in-person welcome day. But this is something we started a couple of years back, but this year it made even more sense, so that new students could share their stories and make friends before joining the university. So each new student sent us a picture or a short video or a sentence, and we prepared some stories for them and shared it in our story, tagging them and saying which bachelor program, which master program, and people could swipe up, so indirectly could learn more about the study program. But also, if someone say, I'm doing master in wealth management, then I already can connect with other people joining for the first time at the university. This worked out quite well. So these are a few stories. If you go on our UNILU Instagram, you can see a highlight where you have all the welcome day. And as you can see up, there's all these white things are stories. So there have been a lot of contribution without us asking them. Just from one story, we didn't have to do a lot for that. People were willing to share their story. And so informative stories, this to inform students. And I said, we tried we had an article where you had what is open, what is closed, so students could know what is happening at the university. But then we make each content a snackable content. So with the pandemic, we didn't want people to come at the student service in mass. So then we've launched an app where people could take an appointment to the student service. And these are things we snacked into stories where people could have exact one information. So this is appointments for learning center, which is our library, or student services, which is SELF, and then canteen, and then more information about opening hours about the learning center, which keeps coming up. Online cafe. Now we have an online cafe where people can learn new languages online only. And some promotional stuff. We are going to have a TEDx University of Luxembourg from 12 to 16 of October. You can register online, and it's totally free for everyone. So we use the countdown sticker, so where people can click on that and get a reminder when we are online. So I just skimmed through more study buddies where people were feeling lonely. So we asked them how were they studying at the university, and they share their study buddy at home. So dogs, cats, etc. These are a few samples. And international day stories, this is something we started. We often, on social media, this is World Smile Day, this is World Architecture Day, these things work. So recently we've done this World Architecture Day, and we show other internationality of our university with students coming from Kosovo, India, or Jordan. So we ask via social media, it's all the community. We just ask them and they contribute, and we've written also an article on the homepage. This is promoting our study program, again, indirectly, but not just saying we are the best, we have the best professors, etc., but just showcasing, and our best ambassadors are our students. And these are, I'm almost at the end. These are a few things that we keep receiving every day. I wanted to share with you because it's what motivates us to keep this connection, and it's a 24-hour job, as I always say. And these are a few feedbacks that we receive, and we receive these every day. And we are connecting with students, prospective students who are already engaging with us. And when I ask them, when are you planning to join university? Sometimes it's in 2-3 years. So this is the long-term strategy we are trying to do here. You can do social media paid campaigns, which is quickly, we want students for the next, but this is a long-term strategy where you connect with people and make them fall in love with our university. So this, as I said, the long-term strategy, which I want to do with these Instagram stories, is to create a sense of belonging. Students become ambassadors. As you see, these quite spontaneous. We don't have, when in person, it's difficult to motivate people, but via Instagram, people want to talk. Prospective students get engaged years in advance. As I said, our engagement rate is increasing every day. And you reach wider audiences organically. As you know, communication, especially in pandemic, etc., we don't have a lot of budget always, and I focus on growing organically. And so with this, you can reach a wider audiences, and you have micro-influencers. Some of you talk about influencers, but I believe in the micro-influencers, because they will reach their friends, their little sisters, little brothers, cousins, who will become at the university, and they can give direct feedback. How was their experience at the university? And ask them that if you want, join our social media and have a look yourself. And finally, I just finished one last slide. So in social media, there's social, which we tend to forget as we are used to traditional media where we speak and people listen. And one thing that is really important, people will always remember how you made them feel. And with social media, we have an opportunity to do that. So thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoyed. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer as well. And you can follow our social media accounts on socialmedia.uni.lu. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Aswin. And sorry to have rushed you through that, because there were some really fascinating thoughts in there. We do have some questions, so I'll go straight to them, just conscious of time. We've got about 12 minutes to go through them. So I'll start in the order which they came through.